tons of tackle. So today, have something a little different for you guys. We are under tons and tons of ice up here in Minnesota. Ice and snow, and it's -100 and really just sucks. So when it's like that, for me, I end up ordering tons of stuff. The first time I will be launching a boat personally, won't be for another couple months probably, but in preparation for that, I just wanted to run you guys through some of the stuff that I've been ordering. So as you can see, there's a few things in there, but you know, it's kind of fun for me. I like to try new things. I don't know, kind of, I guess you could say I'm a tackle junkie per se, but you know, first of all, one thing that I'm really excited about is this little guy right here. It's a Lipless from ARK. You know, we have underwaters of some of these baits, so we'll drop some in as we have them, but this deal is pretty cool. You know, it's obviously a Lipless is a Lipless, right? But this one I thought was a little unique when I had first seen it come out at ICAST. So naturally I had to get some. And what's cool about it, it's kind of a unique shape, right? So it's got this nose on it, and as you can see right here when you look at it, it's got this really wide head on it, but the body's still pretty slender. So what that does for you is this bait engages at super low speed, and you can see that in the underwaters. I mean, you can just crawl this thing. You know, it's got really good hooks on it. I think these are the Ichikawas or something like that. I think that's what they're called. So super sticky, super excited about that one. That's going to be a good one. Excited to throw that. You know, and then some other stuff, flat-sided cranks. So obviously that's a staple. And so there's a couple that I haven't had the opportunity to throw much, which this new one for this year is the OG Slim from Rapala. As you can see, it's a balsa bait, flat side. We've got underwaters of this one. Ott spent a lot of time. He made this bait for years, just on his own, and he obviously designed it, really liked it. I've spent some time in the boat with guys that have caught him on it. Everybody, a lot of the pros are throwing it. So, Bert, hey, knock it off. What do you got? We should probably take care of that. He's got some Quicksilver product. Come here, come here. Knock it off. I don't think black labs do well with fuel treatment. So now that Bert is taken care of, not eating fuel treatments, we can get back to talking about baits. So OG, from what I've seen from other guys, it's an awesome balsa crank that I'm pretty excited to throw around a little bit. I know Kyle is throwing it around, Ryan's throwing it around a little bit. So staying on the flat-sided train though is this little guy, the Berkley flat side, Frittside, sorry. I don't know, it's kind of a hybrid bill, but it's not really designed as a super hard-hitting square bill. You know, it is worming it through stuff and that kind of deal. Obviously a lot of guys that won money on it last year, guys like John Cox, just padding his bank account with this little guy. So picked up a bunch of those, and as you can, you know, as I'm going through a lot of these baits too, see a little bit of a common theme, the oranges, the reds, you know, it's just kind of a confidence deal, I guess. For some reason it seems like they bite those colors better in the spring. So have a lot of those, as well as some natural colors like this one. Another one that I really like is the Big Shad in the OG. That's a pretty cool one. But in general, a lot of moving baits as well. You know, you're covering a lot of water in the spring, just kind of trying to figure out where those fish are at. And so personally, I'm a moving bait guy. I just cast as many times as I can. So keep it moving. Another crank bait deal is the speed trap. you know, it's an older bait. This thing's been on the market for a long time and caught a lot of fish. I have thrown it a little bit down on the Mississippi River. I know smallmouth like it, but this one's a little bit more of a hybrid type deal. You know, it is more of that Squarebill profile, but it does have flat sides. It's a unique shape. There's not a lot of baits on the market like it. So it has, you know, normal Squarebill characteristics, real hard hitting, banging it off cover nonstop. But it also has the flat-sided, tight wiggle and all that stuff. So picked up a few of those to whip around. Again, another red bait. But moving through, got some more DTs, obviously, you know, staple in the spring around. And then this little guy right here should be pretty cool. So obviously bladed jigs throughout the year, all over the country, they catch bass. It's been proven for a fact. I throw them a lot, but this little guy is the Stealth JackHammer. ChatterBait. So, and actually this particular color is a new color as well. This is Bee Height Delight 2, so it's same colored skirt, but it's different colored head on there, so that's pretty cool. But with the Stealth, what that gives you is this plastic blade. So it's not a metal blade on there, it's a clear blade. With that, you don't have, it's not quite as loud. You know, it's just not, it still throws off a lot of vibration, but it's just different, right? It's just different than the standard JackHammer. So that could be a big player this year as well. I shouldn't say it could be, it will be. I threw it around a little bit last year, obviously caught fish on it. Pretty excited about just to see what you can do with that clear blade and how it's just a little different, because obviously when it comes to bass fishing with today's lakes and everything so pressured, you just having something a little different can be the key. So that should be a cool little guy. This color is really cool too. I like the purples and the greens in that head, but that clear bladed, that Stealth JackHammer, that's going to be an awesome one. Picked up obviously your staple colors, black and blue, that Bee Height, green pumpkin. So throw that around a bunch, and then going to, I guess we can pull out these shaky heads. So I like throwing a shaky head around. You know, it's not necessarily only spring, you know, all times of the year, but I'm traditionally a screw lock shaky head guy, but I figured I'd try something new. I like trying new stuff, see if I'm missing out on anything. So I picked up a few packs of these Bagley shaky heads. I guess it's just a non-screw lock head, so we'll see how I like it. Obviously, everybody has their personal preference when it comes to a shaky head, but you know, 3 different colors, your black, green pumpkin. It's a little bit more of a, I guess you'd call it a brighter green pumpkin, but, and then just kind of your standard lead. So we'll see how those work out. They seem like they got a good hook on them, which obviously is the most important part. And then it's a horizontal line tie on those two. So when you're, and I guess I can pull one out and show you what I mean by that. But the line tie right there, it's horizontal. So as you're dragging it along, you know, that horizontal line tie allows you to bring it up over cover a little easier instead of it being vertical. It's just standard for the most part, but good hook, nice keeper on it. We'll see how I like it compared to a screw lock. But, and then we're kind of getting down to the last few things here. Oh, I missed one crankbait. That's right. So we have the Jabberjaw. If you guys haven't seen this little guy yet, it's pretty dang cool. So pull this one out and show you. That bill on it is what makes it super unique. So it's, you know, it has your Squarebill characteristics of hard hitting, banging it off cover and stuff, but it's different about it. That bill, it's oscillating. So it has metal cheeks in there where that blade or that bill is knocking up against there, making a really unique sound. Guys like Jacob Wheeler have been catching them on it, so he really likes it. Kyle threw it around a little bit last year, caught some fish on it, and yeah, I think it'll be a cool thing. Again, it's something different, so it's your typical Squarebill, but just something a little different. So showing those fish that, kind of hard to come by. I think a lot of them have sold, but if you can find some, I definitely suggest picking some of these up and giving them a try. You can just, even just hearing that right there. Cool, super cool, like a ChatterBait and a Squarebill mixed. So that's something really cool. And then, I don't think I have too much more. Frittside, oh, some different finesse jigs. Personally, I don't know, I like trying new things often. Obviously, jig catches fish. I obviously, like everybody else, has their favorite jigs, but I like to throw different ones and see if like I said, see if I'm missing out. So these little guys, it's a finesse jig from Jewel. It's a tactical finesse 5/16. I like fishing a finesse jig, especially in colder water, just not as bulky. And yeah, we'll see how these go. I haven't fished them before. First impressions of it, you know, the weed guard's stiff enough. It's not, I'm not gonna call it crazy stiff by any means, but it should be stiff enough. Good stout hook on it, where you're not gonna bend it out. I tend to set the hook pretty hard, so that's my own issues, but you definitely need a stout hook with that deal. But pretty compact little jig. I like the colors on this one. I don't know. This is Bass Whacker, so obviously it's going to catch fish because it's called Bass Whacker. So, but kind of some oranges, some reds, along with green pumpkin in there. But yeah, your standard jig, cool little finesse jig that try out. But again, you know, this is kind of all things I've purchased in preparation for spring. Obviously, you know, you're gonna have your jerk baits and that kind of sort of deal, but this is just stuff that I'm excited to fish this spring. Moving baits for the most part, besides the shaky head and your standard jig, but sometimes you do have to slow down. So should be a fun spring, getting after it, trying to catch some fish. But yeah, this is, you know, just a few things that I've picked up for this year, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can get out soon enough and catch some fish on them. But I mean, if you're interested in any of this stuff, hopefully you guys like the underwaters of them. But there's obviously links down in the description, and yeah, head on over, check them out, pick some up, and don't be afraid to try some new tackle. That's for sure, because I think as bass fishermen, we tend to get stuck in our ways pretty easily. So yeah, there's a little unboxing for you, what I picked up for this coming spring.